Hey guys, welcome back. So today we're back out the range with a 9mm sub gun, but we're out here with a different one. Now I've done a video on the gun before, but something's changed, and that something is I've gotten a Form 1 back on it. Now this is one of my favorite 9mm carbines because it's probably the highest quality 9mm carbine I have in my collection. I really love the Scorpion Evo. It has a lot of modifications you can do to it. You certainly can't beat it for the price. It's just absolutely 100% been reliable for me. But this is the jewel of my 9mm carbine collection. I have it with a Griffin Armament Revolution 9 can-on here via a tri-lug, and we're shooting some Freedom Munitions Hush out of this gun, so it should be really, really quiet. But we're going to shoot this one first, and then I'm going to show you the TP9 with its Form 1 back. All right. All right. Conventional. Now check this out. I'm carrying an SBR in a leg holster. Guys, this thing is absolutely amazing. It requires a special suppressor that goes on this muzzle device, which I'm trying to get my hands on one right now. But this is the lightest, smallest, most incredible little SBR package there is. And you can put it in a B&T leg holster rig and carry it around like a handgun. To get it out and deploy the stock, you just have a button right here. And again, this is a B&T holster. I've just mounted it to a Blackhawk leg rig because it uses the same hole pattern. I just hit the button, release the gun, bring the gun up, pull the stock out, and it goes right into the shoulder. That's just cool. I mean, even if you don't like the TP9, you have to admit, that's pretty cool. And the weight of this thing is amazing. It is not much heavier than a standard handgun. It's all polymer. The upper and lower is polymer. The bolt system is made out of metal, uses a rotating type bolt. But again, the weight is ridiculously light. It's just a cool little setup. So we're going to play around with this little guy some more. We'll go back and see how long it takes me to get it out of the leg holster and up into my shoulder and maybe shoot it 75 and maybe even 100 yards with a 9mm. All right, if you guys can't tell, I'm pretty excited. Let's load up some magazines and do some more shooting downrange. Well, we've just decided to come all the way back to 75 yards. Why not? We have a stock on it, right? So that challenge steel target down there is 75 yards away. Pull my pistol out and ready it. Take the safety off here. And let's see if I can actually hit that thing from this far away. Should be. Now the gun's zeroed for about 15 yards. Looks like it went a little high maybe. All right, so looks like it's grouping just a little bit to the right. Range will really tell you where your gun's zeroed at. You know, 7 yards or 10 yards, it seems like it's pretty much spot on, but I'm definitely hitting just a little bit right side of that target down there at 75. Yeah, that's not too bad for a 9mm, is it? All right, what the heck, let's take it on back to 100 yards after I finish out this magazine. Nice thing about the B&T magazines, you can see through them so you can see how many rounds you have. You have quite a few left. This is a 30-round magazine. I think I started off this fun with a shortened 20-rounder. What's kind of funny is it still says 30 rounds on the side, so basically all they're doing is cutting a little bit off the magazine, trimming the spring back, and selling them as 20-round magazines. Probably do that yourself. All right, I only dropped a couple of them. May bring the sight just a little bit back to the left. What the heck, we'll just go ahead and do that. And then we're going to move back to the 100-yard line and do a little bit more shooting, see if we can keep hitting at 100 with a 9. All right, so we're back at 100 yards. Now you'll notice that I'm not flipping my cap covers up on my AEM5 T2 Micro. I'm just shooting right through it. So the T2 is a nice addition to this gun, because if you do want to rapidly deploy it, you can do so without flipping your lens caps up. All right, let's go ahead and take the stock out here, put the weapon on fire, and let's see if we can hit that little plate there at 100. Ah, a little to the right. So I'm basically having to hold the left edge. I didn't give it enough left windage adjustment. If I hold dead center, I can see it impact just to the right of the plate. Yeah, you can shoot fairly quickly, and it's surprisingly accurate for such a small package at 100 yards. Now, I don't know how effective a 9mm ball round will be. These are 124 grain rounds. These are the Fiocchi. We like to thank Fiocchi for sending that ammo out, but yeah, this little thing is actually effective at least to 100 yards. Craziness. I'm definitely going to do some more windage adjustment. Once I got the Form 1 back, installing the stock is really simple, and it's interesting to see how it works. The gun, as I showed in my original video, has all the provisions for the stock already molded into the lower polymer half of the gun. So really there's only 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces to the whole stock set. 5 if you count this screw. So there's 5 total pieces, and it goes together very simply. There's nothing to cut, there's nothing to remove or add, other than the parts that come in the kit. Now the stocks are available through hkparts.net, and you can see how it fits the contours of the gun. Also, having looked at this and the P26 and some of the other guns that B&T is offering, not only do they have magazine commonality, but they have this stock in common. So they've engineered their guns so it's just one stock that works with all their pistols, which when you get your Form 1 back, you can convert them to rifles. It has a little tab here. I don't know if you'll be able to see it, but this little tab by my index finger locks into the takedown slot just in front of this tab here. So you push a button on the bottom, and spring loaded. You just push that button with your thumb, and then the stock will fold around. You'll see that tab come in and line up with that slot, and if you push it, it'll snap into place, and now the stock stays firmly closed. When you want it though, all you have to do is just apply a little bit of pressure. It'll unlock, swing around, and it'll lock in the extended position. All polymer, doesn't really add much weight to the gun whatsoever. Again, I'll have to throw this thing on the scale, but this is the lightest SBR I own, and probably the smallest. It's absolutely insane. So this is a very SBR friendly gun. You know, there's certain guns you have to do a lot of work to convert them to SBRs. This is one of the guns that literally, you get your Form 1 back, quickly drop the pieces on, do your engraving, you're done. So, pretty slick little setup. Now, I'm still using the Picatinny rail here on the top. I have a Midwest Industries quick detach mount here on an AEM5 T2 micro. Pretty small. You can go even lighter if you wanted to use a reflex sight like a Delta Point or a Trigicon RMR, and you could get away with mounting it really low, because this has a perfect cheek weld. You'll notice there's quite a bit of distance here, so you can get away with low mount sights, so you're not adding height to the gun, trying to get it up high enough to where you can see it. This comfortably rests with my cheek on a low mount. So again, an RMR would work great for even less weight and even less obtrusive than something like this AEM5 T2 micro. Stocks are available, and as are the holsters. which works slightly different now with the stock in place. So when I'm putting it back in, here's a release button. When I put the gun back in, it grabs and locks onto the trigger guard, so you have to get that stock in front of the locking piece. Then you have the little muzzle cone down there. Line that up and just push, and it goes right into place. And then when you need to deploy the gun, you just push the button, bring the gun up, and do that. But what's funny is you can also lock it in like this, just walk around and like, yeah. And then when you're ready, you just push the button and bring it straight into your shoulder. All right, I probably won't do that. I love it when we run out of spray paint and we can put an empty spray bottle downrange. See if I can hit that with my little TP9. Oh, clipped it right in the side. Man, this thing shoots good. Jason, you want to shoot this thing? Yeah, he's saying, yeah, who wouldn't? Wow, that's a lot of fun to shoot. Now that the gun's an SBR, I can technically put a vertical forend grip on it. The machine gun lower is molded differently than the semi-automatic lower. Here you can see the 2 screw holes where it comes from the factory with a Picatinny rail. I may put that back on and put a vertical grip on it, but it's going to make it even more clumsy going in and out of the holster if I do that. And I may not. So when you're shooting it, you have to hold it like this and keep your hand away from that muzzle. But one of the reasons why this gun is so light, first of all, this stock is polymer, so it doesn't add anything to the weight of the gun. But let's go ahead and clear it. Charging handles polymer, rear sights are polymer. The whole gun is pretty much polymer. I'm going to go ahead and take the gun apart here for you really quick and show you the insides. I know I've already done this once before in my previous video, but I just want to show you how this gun is constructed. So all the metal components are in a polymer housing on the upper, all right? There's a little bit of metal reinforcements down here, but this thing is silly light. This has no weight to it whatsoever. So your trigger mechanism is all metal, and it's just setting in an all polymer housing, and then you have your front block that all the metal parts here lock into, molded into the lower assembly. Again, this thing is silly lightweight. This doesn't weigh much either. It looks bigger than it is, but that's because of this big muzzle device. It's actually hollow. So it's hollow all the way back, and then there's just a muzzle right here. But taking this out is really simple. Just pull it back. This is your locking mechanism. Now, one thing I've noticed, when I get the suppressor, people say that these things are very suppressor friendly. And one of the reasons I think that is here's your breech back here. As this unlocks, there's a long time it takes for it to unlock. So it starts that movement rearward on the bolt, but look how far it has to move before it actually starts to separate from the bolt face. That's quite a distance, and a lot more than a handgun. What that tells me is that bullet is long gone out of the barrel. The burnt powder behind it has long left the chamber area and has exited the end of the barrel before it even unlocks and opens. It's very much a reality, what we call chamber pop and piston pop. Chamber pop is a thing too. And so with handguns that unlock very quickly, like an M&P, for example, they unlock very quickly and the bullet has just left the barrel or is just exiting the barrel, but you have a lot of gas still coming back down the barrel as it starts to pull that casing out. With this long delay, I'm going to guess that this thing's going to be pretty darn quiet if the can's effective. But that's your whole mechanism right there, guys. It's really a simple setup. All right, so we'll put it back together. Take this, your recoil spring, the guide pretty much stays in there. Just set the bolt on the spring, push it back in until everything locks into place. There we go. Now you just take your bolt, make sure it stays down. It has a tendency to kind of want to pop out. Make sure it stays down and just set it on the lower receiver assembly and just push. And it'll click back together. So yeah, the charging handle's polymer. You can see it flexes. Yeah, I mean, the whole thing is super, super lightweight, very well designed, and so far has been 100% reliable. I really like this little guy, as you couldn't tell on your own. I have to keep telling you guys that. All right, guys, it's time to get out of here, wrap things up. I hope you enjoyed coming out to the range and checking out my TP9 with its new stock because of the Form 1 I got back. Now, the Form 1 that I filed on this bad boy was an E-form. They're no longer accepting E-form submissions at the ATF. This was under the old rules where I could use a trust and not have a background check. It took 5.5 months for me to get my Form 1 back on this gun. We still haven't seen any paperwork come back through Copper under the new 41F regulations, where basically everybody on a trust has to submit to a background check, which also gives you the one good thing, no more Clio sign-off. So we haven't seen any of that paperwork come back, so I can't tell you guys how long the transfer times are now. This one, 5.5 months. Now this is a flat dark earth TP9. We only got 2 into Copper Custom a long time ago. I kept this one for myself. We sold the other one to a customer. These things are hard to find. We are going to try to secure more of these because I really do believe these are one of the best SBR guns out there. So keep your eye on Copper Custom's website. We may or may not be able to get these guns in the future. If you guys have any questions about anything you've seen in this video, we do try to stick around for the first couple of days after we post the videos live to answer the questions you guys may have. Just post right down below. Also, if you would like to support the Military Arms channel, please swing by and check out Copper Custom. Also, be sure to check out full30.com. That's full30.com. We've taken all the web's best firearms content creators and brought them under one roof, and that is full30.com. Thanks for watching, everybody. We'll talk to you guys soon. I love it. Yes, I love mechanical devices, especially ones I can carry around on my leg.